Do you think you're taking good care of your fish? You probably do. You feed them every day. You clean the tank. They've been alive for months, maybe longer, and they seem fine. But here's what most fish owners never find out until it's too late. Fine doesn't mean thriving. And some of the things you're doing every single day, things that feel like good care, are quietly shortening your fish's life. Most aquarium fish can live 5, 10, even 20 years with proper care. Most don't make it past 2. These 8 everyday things are why. Let's start with the one that surprises people the most. 1. You're loving them to death at every feeding. How much do you feed your fish each day? Most owners say somewhere between a pinch and until they stop eating, and almost all of them are doing far too much. Here's what most people don't realize about overfeeding. Your fish will eat past the point of fullness every single time. Not because they're greedy, because in the wild, the next meal is never guaranteed. Their instinct is to eat everything available right now, because tomorrow there might be nothing. So when they keep eating, it doesn't mean they need more, it means they can't stop. And every flake that sinks uneaten begins to rot. Ammonia levels climb. The same water your fish breathes through their gills becomes gradually more toxic with every meal. A study on water quality in home aquariums found that overfeeding is the single leading cause of ammonia spikes in established tanks, responsible for more fish deaths than disease, parasites, or any equipment failure. That extra pinch you give because they still look hungry, that's not love. That's the thing quietly poisoning the water they live in. Feed only what your fish can consume in 2 minutes, once a day for most species. Watch what happens to your water clarity within a week. And stay with me, because number 7 is the one that breaks people's hearts. Most fish owners only find out what it is after it's already too late. 2. You're pouring poison into their tank every water change. This one stops people cold when they first find out. Have you ever done a water change and added tap water directly to your tank? Most people do. It seems logical. Water is water. Your fish has survived this far. But here's what's really happening every time you pour that tap water in. Municipal water is treated with chlorine and chloramines, chemicals specifically designed to kill living organisms. They make the water safe for you. But for a fish, those same chemicals don't just cause discomfort. Research on chlorine exposure in freshwater fish shows they attack gill tissue directly, causing measurable damage within minutes. The fish may survive the water change, but each time the damage compounds. Their ability to absorb oxygen decreases. They become more vulnerable to disease. Their lifespan quietly shortens, and you never see it happening. And hey, if this is already changing how you see your tank, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more fish owners who want to understand what their fish actually needs to thrive. The fix takes 30 seconds. A water conditioner, dechlorinator, added before every water change neutralizes chlorine and chloramines immediately. 30 seconds, a few drops. That's the difference between slowly damaging their gills and keeping them healthy for years. 3. Your lights are destroying their immune system. Have you ever left your tank light on all day because you enjoy how the tank looks? Most fish owners do. And fish don't sleep the way we do, so it seems like it doesn't matter. But here's what most people never consider. Fish have a circadian rhythm, an internal body clock that regulates hormone production, immune function, and rest cycles, just like ours. And that clock is set entirely by light. When lights stay on for 12, 14, 16 hours a day, the fish's body clock never resets. Cortisol, the stress hormone, stays chronically elevated. Immune function drops. The fish becomes more vulnerable to every illness already present in the tank. A fish keeper I know couldn't figure out why her fish kept getting sick despite perfect water parameters, beautiful tank, pristine chemistry, ideal temperature. The only thing she changed was putting the lights on a timer, 8 hours on, 16 hours off. Within a month, the illness cycle stopped completely. It wasn't the water, it was the light. 8 to 10 hours per day. Put it on a timer. Your fish's immune system will show you the difference within weeks. 4. Never do this during a water change. Here's a mistake that looks like responsible fish keeping, but causes serious harm. You skip water changes for a few weeks, life gets busy. Then you compensate with a big one, 50%. maybe 70%. Most people assume cleaner water is always better. More is more. But here's what's really happening in that moment. Your fish has adapted to the specific chemistry of their tank water. The pH, the mineral content, the temperature, their biology has calibrated to those exact parameters over time. When you replace 50% or more of that water at once, you're not refreshing their environment, you're replacing it. The chemistry shifts suddenly and dramatically. Fish can go into osmotic shock from rapid water changes. Their cells struggle to regulate fluid balance when the surrounding water chemistry shifts too fast. The fish may look completely fine immediately after. The damage shows up days later when they stop eating, become lethargic, or suddenly develop disease with no obvious cause. 10 to 20% weekly, consistent, small and regular, that's what keeps parameters stable and your fish unstressed. 5. Stop doing this to the glass right now. Almost every fish owner does this. Almost none of them know what it actually does. That gentle tap to get them moving, that knock when you want to show someone, it seems completely harmless. But your fish doesn't have ears. What they have is a lateral line, a row of pressure-sensitive cells running along their body that detects vibrations in water with extraordinary precision. When you tap the glass, that vibration doesn't travel through air, it explodes through water in every direction at once, arriving as a sudden, massive, directionless impact with no warning and no source they can locate or escape from. Studies on fish stress responses show that repeated sudden vibrations keep cortisol elevated for hours after the event, even when the fish appear outwardly calm. That's not X. That's not your fish being a bit jumpy. That's a fish who has learned, tap by tap, that your presence sometimes means pain. Stop tapping the glass. Rest your palm gently against it instead. Let them come to you. 6. Your tank is too small and it's shortening their life. What size tank do you have? Most beginners start with whatever seemed affordable. A 5-gallon, a 10-gallon, sometimes smaller. And here's what the pet store almost never tells you. Most commonly sold fish are juveniles. What they become as adults is a completely different story. A common goldfish in the right conditions grows to 12 inches and lives 20 years. In a small tank, they rarely make it to 5. It's not just about space. Small tanks mean water parameters fluctuate faster, toxins build up more quickly, and oxygen levels drop more severely between water changes. Every fish in a too small tank is living in a state of low-grade chronic stress. One small parameter shift away from illness. That's not thriving, that's surviving, barely and only for a while. Research the adult size of every species in your tank tonight. If the tank can't comfortably house them as adults, that's the first thing to change. 7. The one mistake that kills fish in the first 2 weeks. Remember at the start when I said there's one thing that breaks fish owners' hearts because they only find out after it's too late? This is it. You bought a tank. You set it up. You added fish the same day or the day after. The water looked clear. The filter was running. Everything seemed ready. But here's what nobody at the pet store told you. A new tank has no beneficial bacteria, the microscopic organisms that process fish waste and prevent ammonia from building to lethal levels. Without them, every bit of waste your fish produces goes directly into the water as toxic ammonia. The fish slowly poisons their own environment with no biological system to neutralize it. This is called new tank syndrome, and it's responsible for more beginner fish deaths than any other single cause. The fish seem fine for a few days, then they stop eating, then they hover near the surface, then they are gone, and the owner never understands why. A tank needs 4 to 6 weeks to cycle fully before fish are added. If you already have fish in an uncycled tank, small daily water changes can reduce ammonia while the cycle establishes. This is the most important thing no one told you when you started. 8. The habit that protects everything you've built. Last one. And this one is completely free, takes almost no effort, and saves fish owners from heartbreak every single day. You bring home a new fish. It looks healthy at the store. You add it to your established tank. 3 weeks later, fish that have lived with you for years start getting sick. Here's what happened. Fish at pet stores are kept in high-stress conditions, exposed to tanks and fish from many different sources. They can carry disease, parasites and bacteria that show no visible symptoms yet, but activate under the stress of transportation and a new environment. When you add that fish directly to your main tank, you expose every fish you own to everything that new fish is carrying. A 2 to 4 week quarantine, even a simple 10-gallon with a filter and heater, lets you observe the new fish in isolation, treat anything that emerges, and confirm they're healthy before they meet your other fish. It's not complicated, it's not expensive, and it's the one habit that protects everything you've already built. Your fish can't tell you when something is wrong. They can't describe pain or show you where it hurts. They just slowly stop thriving, and most owners never know why. But now you do. Go through this list tonight. Find the one thing you didn't know was causing harm. Change that one thing. Your fish has been waiting for you to figure this out, and now you have.